right, let me pull up chat on my phone. And let everybody get over from Shauna's or come in. I'm a little early. I have a little haul, and then I thought we'd work on some bunnies. Let everybody kind of get in. If you're watching the recording, you might want to fast forward just a little bit. Hey, Chrissy. Hi, Shauna. Your page turned out really pretty, Shauna. As always. Hey, Joycey. Like I said, I got a little haul, and then I got a couple bunnies. Hey, Dottie. So this was the bunny that I did last weekend. I worked on it while people were streaming and late at night. It's a farmer bunny, so it's got like seed packet napkin. This was napkin. Shauna paper. And because this paper is from that really big roll, it's so bad, I can't watercolor on it. So everything was done with paint and paper and pit pens. So I did the background, then I painted in a base coat of my bunny. Then I added the papers and used gel medium over those. And then I came back in and added some of the details with the pit pen. And then finally I finished up with the Poscas. So I think his overalls turned out super cute. But let me show you what I've bought. I haven't been buying a lot. I'm supposed to be on a little bit of a freeze. Thank you. Hi, Lorena. QN? I don't know if I said that right. I apologize if I didn't. So I just got a new package of the tracing paper. It's just Strathmore tracing paper. I was just running out. I use it to make patterns, but lately I was using it to do some alcohol ink and stamp on and use it in that capacity. I ordered some rice paper and it came in a really cool envelope. I ordered it from Amazon. I'm going to use the envelope for something. And I got it for printing. I wanted to print some of the digitals, and it's 11 by 14. So I thought it would be good on the jelly plate. Also, I could print on them. I might have to cut them to print. But that's also why I got the Pixie spray. You can use Pixie spray for the stencils, but that's not why I bought it. I bought it because I wanted to be able to spray tissue paper or rice paper to a piece of cardstock, so I would have it would stick to the carrier instead of using tape to print in the printer. But I wanted to print some of the digital backgrounds. And start doing that a little more. And then I got from Nikki, Distressed Crafter, I got my third Stamperia stencil. And this is a 7 by 7, I think. And it's Cosmos. And then she sent some napkins. And she sent a cute little stamp that looks like a rose bottle. All right. And then I got one of my wish order things that's out there floating in the Pacific. It is, let me see if I can, I'm going to put it on something so you can see. There are two stamps and it's kind of a mishmash, and it's got like stitching, honeycomb, rulers. It's already kind of mishmashed. And I got, like I said, it was part of a wish order. I've got a couple more stamps and some washi still floating around somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. I think it keeps bouncing back and forth between two stations in China. Then I got a stamping platform because I'm a horrible stamper. Well, I actually got a couple things. The other thing I got, I already showed, is the one that rocks that Nikki showed about 2 weeks ago. So I got this one. It's got the magnets that hold down the paper, and I was just using it to stamp some tissue with the new stamps. But it's got the magnets to hold down the paper, and the way that you use it, it doesn't hinge. Is these are magnets, and it's a spring right here. So you set the two magnets and you set it down. Now your stamp is not touching your paper, and then you push down to make contact and then let up. But you can restamp or reposition if you need to do like multiple stamping. And the inks that I had gotten recently was Nikki, the Distress Crafter, had shown this one, which is an alcohol-proof dye. And I thought that would be good for the alcohol ink projects. And it's in black. And then I got the Morning Mist, which is a gray. This is just on tissue. This is the gray. And I like how it actually almost went translucent. This is the Spectrum Noir black one. And then this is just the archival VersaFine regular black ink that I had. And that's just on tissue. Now, I did realize after I did it that I should have put paper underneath here because I have a little bit of an imprint of the stamp that went through the tissue. So if I use tissue, then I know I want to put a piece of paper underneath there to kind of protect that base. Hey, Jersey, I enjoyed your stream this morning. I had missed seeing and visiting with you, my friend. All right, so I'm going to use this stencil. I have two other Stamperia stencils I think I showed that I got from Xandra. Well, three, actually. I take that back. I got Rust 2. There's a Rust one that has smaller spaces. This one right here. And this one here. And I like how they're already kind of a mishmash. But I love that, Jersey. That's my favorite part about hanging with you and Popo, is it's just no stress. I need a new chair. All right, so last night I couldn't sleep. So I prepped Farmer John's little girlfriend bunny. These are 11 by 17, so they're bigger than my normal bunnies. I blew it up. Hi, Elaine. So what I did last night was I put down dictionary paper, and then I had watermelon napkins that I put down. And then I had a napkin that I liked this flower and the butterflies. So I put that just in a few places. Then I took buttermilk, light buttermilk, a little bit of cotton candy, an old folk art, soft apple, and a little bit of sea glass green, and painted in the bunny. And I just kind of started with the cream and then worked in some of the greens and would come back and dry brush. So she's supposed to be kind of watermelon color. So you can sort of see there's her rind. And then there's the flesh. And then I gave her a dress, like a wrap dress. No, Joycey, you don't give out stress. Unfortunately, it's Wednesday and I'm stuck at school. But not very long. So I'm going to finish her. She's already got a coat of the matte medium all dry, and she's ready to use some more paint, but mostly it will be the pit pins. And this is what I was talking about, Jersey, when I said I'm going to use I use the pit pins over the medium. So I've given her a coat of a matte medium, and it's all dry so that the ink will slide. I need to decide if what I'm gonna add to her ears is the next thing. I had a couple thoughts. I have this, and I thought about adding a little bit of this, but I'm afraid it's too big. So my thought process was to add a little bit of her dress napkin up in her ear. And then I had some green jelly printed napkin that I thought I would add to the rhyme. No, I don't go into school. I have to be online. And with 165 kids, I stay busy answering questions. I Zoom on Tuesdays. Grade level meeting on Mondays. Some kind of staff meeting usually on Wednesdays. It's like cray-cray with the Zoom. Like, I wish they'd never discovered Zoom. That's the biggest problem. Is all these people gone to more meetings. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a wet brush and just regular water. And I can sort of see where I want to be. And then I'm going to tear away the paper napkin. And they don't read directions. Like, oh my God, if they would just read directions. Because I got kids having to do assignments 2 and 3 times because they won't use the notes. And then somebody said they couldn't answer 90 questions. No, they couldn't answer 50 questions in one sitting on a vocabulary test. And I said, well, you would have if we were at school. done the test in 90 minutes with no notes and no internet. So I believe that you can do it in one sitting. Quit procrastinating. All right. I just like the rough edges. It blends a little better. Well, because I stream, I actually use StreamYard. I don't need to see their faces. They don't need to see my face. And I put the PowerPoint notes on StreamYard and lecture and talk about the topic. I did have it live with an unlisted and they could come and ask questions, but nobody was coming and asking any questions. So I quit doing that. See, I like that there. That makes me happy. Yeah, I saw one. It was a teacher's appreciation one. It was hilarious. It was the one mom was laying on the floor in the bathroom because she couldn't do the assignments. But I have middle school students, and when they're telling their parents they can't do the assignment that we do and have done all year online, I'm like, no, we do this every unit all the time without notes. So now you have your notes in Google, so don't really have a lot of sympathy in that aspect. Now, if you tell me you're sick, your parents are sick, we have students who've lost family members, or if you have a problem, tell me. But when you don't get on and do anything, or tell me it's too hard. See, I think that looks cute. It just adds some more interest up there. Help this one out a little bit by just tearing. All right, let's put this one down, and then we'll let her dry and we'll work on bunny number 3. And for those of you who were interested in the watercolors, they are on sale. So I kept the sale price and then put 50% off. There is not a lot left. So if you were eyeing some of them, you might want to get on it. Just saying. You have until the end of May, but I don't think they'll last that long. I only have 1 full set and 7 trios right now. But the 50% off coupon is May Day 2020 is good on all the art through the 31st. since I don't have any art shows scheduled, and I don't plan on well, I don't think that I'm not putting any money out for any art shows because I firmly believe that some of that stuff will be a no-go. And it's so expensive. Plus, I'd have to buy a new tent since mine broke the last time. We took it down. Well, actually, when we were putting it up that morning, we had to rig it that day. And this is jelly printed napkin. So you know when you use the napkins and you take the paper off the back. That's what this is. Yeah, well, Tracy, there's all kinds of stuff, not just bunnies, but okay. All right, so I'm going to let that dry before we come in with the pit pins. But what I'm talking about as far as jelly printing is this came off the back of that napkin, and I will jelly print on it so that I can use it instead of throwing it away, or I stamp on them. Okay, clean that all up. All right, I'm going to let that dry over to the side. And this bunny, I wanted to use my new stencil. So earlier today, when Jersey was on, I painted all around the bunny in black. And I let that dry. So it's just black craft paint. And then this is just made, it's a mask that I made with plastic dividers because I don't want the bunny to get damaged. And I sprayed Dilutions in fresh lime, crushed grape, London blue, and vibrant turquoise. Those are all sprayed on the black. You can't see them. I let them dry. And I cleaned off the mask so there'd be nothing going under. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the stencil and just regular white gesso. I'm just going to get some gesso out and just put it on the table so I can and Paula, Journal Artista, showed us this technique in her journal a long time ago. And I'm just going to start up in this corner with the stencil. And I'm just going to get white gesso on the sponge. And it may take a few minutes for the reaction. And when I move the stencil, you'll really see the color of the dilutions. I don't have to worry about my bunny because I have it masked. This would have been a good time to use the pixie spray. But this paper rolls. Well, it's on a big roll. It's 30 inches by 5 yards. But I cut it down to 11 by 17. I'll move the stencil up just a few minutes and we'll see. And I don't think I'm going to do this down here. See the magic that happens because dilutions comes up. Okay, I think I'm going to put I'm going to have to scooch over. And I'll put this right here on this side. And you can see I used a lot of the blue. At the end, so that dominated quite a bit. Right, and then I'm going to turn this. I think it needs a little something right in here. Not that all of this will end up being in frame. All right, I'm going to turn it upside down. And if you don't follow Paula, she started streaming again. She's been working on watercolor and organizing her craft room. She's been streaming every morning, but it's Journal Artista on YouTube. Okay. And I think I'm going to turn this upside down here. Yeah, it's a really easy pop of layers. If I would have isolated my colors, I just was a little too heavy-handed with the turquoise and the blue. So my green's not really showing up, which is fine. Because the bunny's going to be green. Okay, and then I'm going to just come in. This is where it meets, and I'm just going to come in with a little bit of this in some places, just to kind of blend. And maybe the inside of this circle. And then right up here it needs something. So I can just fill in any holes that I see. All right, now I'm going to take the mask off. And I kind of just made sure my tape wasn't super sticky so that it wouldn't tear the paper, because this is such god-awful paper. All right, and I'm going to use what is left over on my table on the bunny. And that's just white gesso. what I'm doing with this bad paper is basically I'm coating it with paint. So because it was piling, I can't use the water materials. And then I'll just wash that off later. Get a brush. Trying to find the one I used earlier today. Acrylic brushes are so bad. They're hard to keep clean. And not destroy them. So I just buy super cheap ones. All right, and the colors that I'm going to use on the bunny. Hi, Janet. This is blue violet, but it actually is my own mix. It's kind of a periwinkle blue. And Irish moss green. Mostly the bunny's going to be green. All right, so I'm going to work this white gesso out just so I have a white layer. And I'm going to kind of keep the white in the areas that I want it to be lighter in color. And I'm going to come in with the blue. On this side. And I'll show you how I have been kind of working the paint and the bunnies, since I'm not using the watercolor. I've just been starting with a blend of paint and then coming back in. Normally, what I did with my bunnies was I would use watercolor. I would use paper and not put the gel medium on the top, and I would use the watercolor on top. All right, spread that out before it dries. Lori. Hi, Elizabeth. And I will tell you, this is awful paper. I will not buy it again. It is the bee paper, but it's not the same bee paper that Janet uses. It's 90 pound. That could be, and it's not 100% cotton. But it will not watercolor or take mixed media. So this is my solution, is to use acrylics, which gives it a little more tooth to it. Hi, Lori. Yeah, I know you get up so early. I don't know how you do that. I guess just years of working in the hospital and having an early shift. And I'm not going to get too stressed about the colors. Some of this will get covered up with papers. All right, I'm going to turn this real quick. I said, we'll just get him a her. I don't know if he's a him or a her. I think he's a him. I was trying to fill in all the dip. And I'm going to get some white. Oh, that's not the white. That's why. The black that's not open. This is the best white ever. It's Deco Arts Traditions, and it's their opaque titanium white. It really blocks when you need to make something more opaque. And I'm just blending wet into wet here. Oh, yeah, I've watched a little of the hop. I haven't watched that much today. Thank you, Elaine. Hi, Gail. Right, I'm going to grab a little white. Come back in with a little. I'm going to add a little blue to some of the white because I like that soft blue. And again, I'm not worried about the nose so much. All right, come back in. Hit with the, and it's pretty wet, so I can get a blend. All right. I need that. I always keep the bridge really white or light in color. And then keep it dark in these eye sockets right in here. So that pushes that in. Always keep that kind of on the lighter color. And that'll be black in here. All right, glue on the edge. I don't know what clothes he's wearing yet. I picked out some papers, but we'll see. Judy, you need to be more careful, Mama. I know we joke about what you eat is on your diet, but right. Judy, to the front of the store. Again, this bunny's going to have on clothes, so not too worried. Just trying to put a coat of paint. Because some of this will get covered by paper. Well, let's get some more of that white. And then we'll be done. And we'll work on her because she should be ready. And we'll come in with some more blue in a few minutes. All right, and then just back with some straight blue. Well, it's kind of wet. Oh, a little bit of blue back up in here. Let's hit these areas where I got a little bit of white showing. Okay, I think that is good. A little bit better blend in there, right? Use up some of that paint that's on the table. And again, I got a few. Oh. Oh, so let's clean up that paint. The gesso before it. All right, and then what I'll do is we'll give this a coat of gel medium. Everywhere. And let it dry. I'm going to hit the bunny first because I don't want, I don't worry, I'm not going to worry about that dilutions right there. But if I get into the, if I get wet onto this, it will drag it into the bunny. Like you can see, I just got a little bit there, but again, I'm going to glue papers on it. So we'll let that kind of, okay, see where the turquoise is coming up? I'm not going to stress that. Now you could spray it. I'm just going to go with it. My stencil pattern will still be there. It's going to make everything a little brighter. And again, I'm not worried about the eyes yet. Drives Dottie crazy, but I do them last. If I need to, I come in with some white acrylic on top of the and I'm just rinsing my brush every once in a while. Or I can take some of that excessive teal away if I need to. And I want to get back some more of that black. I'm just taking off, like, notice the paint's not coming off. I'm just taking off some of the, oh, well, we're definitely putting clothes there. I'm just pulling back some of the extra spray if I want to. Just spray less. I sprayed more than I needed to, probably. And then what I might do is put another coat up, let that dry, and before I do the pit pins, I'll do the paper, so I'll end up putting another coat. But I touched it and lifted some of the paper right here. But like I said, we're going to put clothes on this. So what I'll do is let that dry completely, and then we'll come back in and put paper on it. And I pulled some different papers that I'm probably going to use. Like I might use that for the clothes. I might use this map for the clothes. And what I have, I'll show you. What I've done is I have my pattern printed a second time. And I don't even care if the map is upside down. And I'll just kind of eyeball, make it a little larger to start with. Because this, and this main thing is, this is my neckline, sort of. You could use this technique with like a picture of your dog or pet. So most likely is that is going to become part of its clothes. And I don't even worry about the fact that I just put paper over what I painted. It'll cover up. And then I can add paint to it or markers to it. Sometimes a jacket. See you later, Joycey. Okay, I'm going to trim this so I can. And I don't worry about wrinkles. And then what I might do is take another paper and put that in the middle, is what I'm leaning towards. And we'll finish that other little bunny up here in just a second. Let this one sit. I'll probably let it sit overnight because you have to be careful of not using the pit pins on wet gel medium. And I'll glue in paper for the ears and stuff, but I'm going to let him dry. Get her, and she's ready for final details. I already put her eyes in. So what I'm going to do is grab pit pins. And I have the big ones and the skinny ones. So I'm going to get green and the pink there. I might use a little bit of that mulberry, but probably not. I think this brighter pink will be better if I need a pink. All right, so then usually what I do is I come in and I blend with my hand. I just do the edges and I soften it. And this will slide when it's still wet, but when it dries, it will be permanent. It's India ink in the markers. Now, this won't work on paper. All right, and then you got to clean your hands or you will. Mine have dilutions on them right now. The smoother your paper is, the easier your blending is. But so I am getting some texture from the and you can, if you don't like something, you can pull back with the baby wipe if it hasn't dried completely. This will also help me, like up here, this got on top of the watermelon, so I'm gonna make that more green just to make it a little less obvious. And then I'm going to put the pink right here. I just want to minimize where some of that white is. On that piece of paper. And like right in here where the butterfly is. And down here. Thank you. All right, I want a different green. There's a green that's more olive and less. Oh, that's not the right one. This green's more limey. And if you pull up, it'll even leave like a painter mark. So you can get some shading. So I usually pull in. I'm going to come in with this darker green. And I actually have many videos from when I first started using the Pitt pens showing how I painted people, vintage fashion girls with them, portraits, not just bunnies, but okay, now I had a little bit of a turquoise in there. That I want to kind of bring back. And if I decide I'm losing too much of my white, I can use a baby white and pull back. kind of tap. I want to put some of that pink down in here. I'm using the markers on top of dry gel medium, and I do use, usually I use Mod Podge, but right now I'm using decoupage. You can use any of your, but it has to be dry. And I'm just tapping some of the color back. Okay. If you use it on wet, what will happen is you will kill your markers, because what will happen is the gel medium will go in the nibs and dry in the pores and block the ink. I have killed a few markers being impatient. So you do have to have some patience in that sense. It's better to let it dry and make sure that you know there's no wet spots. Bye, Gail. All right, now I'm going to take her dress. I have a different turquoise I'm going to get too. And I will tell you the best way to get these markers built up is if you can buy sets, buy a few sets, and then I went on Dick Blick and bought singles in the ones that I didn't have, because I was going to start getting too many duplicates. And some colors you just don't see in the sets. Like I had to buy the turquoise because I didn't have it in any of the sets. Now they've changed a little bit how they do the sets. But I started by finding good deals on Amazon. Sometimes you can find them on sale at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Okay, we're just about through. I'm going to add some detail to the nose. I'm going to have a darker brown that I'm going to use. I don't know. I don't have those, CB. My guess would be the pigment in them. All right. Now, I will tell you, I usually put a coat of gel medium over everything when I'm all done. After everything is dry, just to protect it and make sure that the color is locked in between a couple layers of gel medium. All right, we're going to give a little highlight to the eye. All right, and I used, that was a white Posca. This is a black Posca, the 0.7 millimeter. It's the extra fine. And if the texture is too bumpy, I do hit. All right, and then I'm going to go down to a number 3. And these are precision pins by American Craft. I get them Amazon, a set of 5, or Tuesday morning. And I will kill them if I'm not careful. And they are permanent when dry. Okay. And then I also have a 3. The set comes with a 3, 1, 3, 5, and 8. There's multiples of a couple of them. Okay. And now we're going to start with the eyelashes. I start with what kind of looks like parentheses at the top and the bottom. And I'm starting with a 5. I got to turn it so I can see it. And I start pulling out eyelashes. Now I'm going to switch down to the 3 to do some skinnier, finer details. A few strays. I'm going to turn it upside down. Go back to the 5. I am hitting a bump of napkin that I don't have down very well. And I'll go back to the 3. And sometimes I have to clean these on paper, which is why I'll keep, because they'll build up a layer of, they'll scrape through the gel medium. That's another reason why you don't want it to be wet in any way, is you'll kill your pens. Especially these skinnier ones will get gel medium on the tips, and that'll kill them. Okay, that is it, how I finish them. I sign and give them a name. So I'm going to sign this right in here. And I think I'm going to name her, I was thinking something like a play on watermelon, just like Melly. Miss Melly Sue. You can sort of see the eyelashes. Boy or girl, I always give them the big eyelashes. You can see. On this one. But what I'll do is let all this dry. I'll put another coat of the matte or the gloss gel medium and then varnish. And so basically what I'll do with this young one is I'll let it dry, and then I'll come in and add the ears and anything that I want for my theme. And come back in with the pit pins. This is all dry enough, probably. But down here it's sticky in some places. Thank you, Belinda. But that's how I use the Pip pens. And that's my solution to the crappy water paper. Is if you add enough coats of acrylic, then it'll take it. It won't take watercolor, but it'll take the abuse of the multi layers. Bye, Elaine. I'm going to leave and go see what Bob is up to. I may order pizza. I got to do grades. Check up on the hop. So for those of you who are interested in any of the art or any of the watercolors, again, the shop is etsy.com shop Debbie Epps, and it's 50% off now until May 31st. If you're going to buy multiple things, just let me know. Don't put them in your cart because I can bundle shipping a lot of times for people. And the sale is US only right now due to the limits on mailing out. So thanks for hanging out. Actually don't have that big a mess. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. And I'll talk to you later. I'll see you at some of the other streams tonight, I'm sure. Bye-bye. Oh, I seal them in the end. In the end, I seal them with varnish. After I'm done with the gel medium, I always put a coat of varnish. Usually a high gloss. Just to make sure that if the Mod Podge doesn't get, you know how sometimes Mod Podge gets sticky in certain temperatures and climates? Mod Podge will stay sticky. But once it's really good and dry, I put a coat of I just use the Americana Duraclear. And I like the high gloss, personally. But I also use satin sometimes. So like this one is ready for the varnish. And that way, it's not going to get sticky in any kind of climate. And it's going to protect it. You're welcome. Thank you, guys.